All right, folks, we've made it. Welcome on back to our morning meeting here, but we've made it to the end of our week this Friday, September 27th. Great to have all of our students and members live inside our trading room here. I'm alive, Phil. Great to see you. It is great to be seen, at least. Great to see Phil, Kerry, Leda, Larry. Got all of us here in chat right now. Marcella, Gillis, Richard. And by the way, I appreciate all of us messaging me earlier, just a bunch of us earlier on the side when I had logged into the trading room. Obviously, I'm here in Florida right now, Southwest Florida, and end up having a Hurricane Helene, right, kind of make its way by me around the Gulf Coast area. So first and foremost, I mean, to those that may not have the chance to tune in right now, just with their power being out, my condolences or my heart, my prayers go out to anyone that is currently being affected by this hurricane. I know around the Tallahassee area, that's where it really hit, around Tallahassee, more around like Dothan, Alabama area. I think it's around, going to make its way around Tennessee area as well. So a couple of us actually here at CTU residing in Tennessee in different parts. So, hoping all ends well, just all together. Hopefully this thing just blows down, like kind of dies off pretty soon. Great to see Margaret and Drea. Andrea says, I hear Largo is Highland. Yeah, so thankfully I was not in an evacuation area myself. But I'm like 2 miles away from like Zone A, which is like one of the more major evacuation kind of areas around me. So either way, we are good. And I'll tell you what, the hurricane actually affected our live trading room this morning. Had a small little issue with the screen share. We are good to go right now. And actually, I want to make sure of that. So all of our members right now, can you see the screen being shared right now? We're going to get going here in just a bit. But for all of us in social media as well, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc., you should be good to go. That being at Cyber Trading U, popping up on the lower left. Hit the follow, hit the subscribe button right there as well, just to follow along each and every day. But we are good. All of our students and members chatting to me right now, giving me the green light. We are good to go. You could hear me, you could see my screen. And with that said, let's hop right into the thick of things. So, let's jump around to a couple stocks that we did trade, that we did call out from yesterday. I ended up having my power knocked out at least a couple of times going into the early afternoon, but I was fine. But ended up making this nice push up earlier on APLD before all of that happened. Broke out over 8, essentially flipped $8 from resistance into support, a little shake under and over basically, but got the job done, and it led to this huge pump up. This isn't even as big compared to what we've been seeing APLD do really since the news came out a few weeks back. There was some news that came out with APLD, this company here, and NVIDIA. I think NVIDIA did a $160 million stake or investment into the company. And it was pretty much right here in the beginning of September. So, huge pop basically from 350 all the way up to 550 and change, and then pushed up much higher afterwards. It's been a great swing trade as much as it's been a great day trade. So, that's just one stock I wanted to go over to begin. We're going to keep this on our side list. Keep it on our B list, our side list for right now. It's kind of hanging near the highs here. It's trading 150,000 shares so far in pre-market, but we got the whole gainers and losers, lists to go through here in just a bit. So we'll kind of put this off to the side. We'll come back to it if we need to in just a bit. We had a few others though. Wolf, this thing just out of nowhere took off heading into the late morning, early afternoon. I guess this stock did pop earlier at the open session, but it was more heading into the late morning, early afternoon. Again, before my power cut out, but ended up seeing this make a pretty good run from 840-ish, 850-ish upwards towards almost 9, then broke higher heading into the afternoon. So this one doing a little bit better compared to Applied Digital this morning, up 3% from yesterday's close. It's not trading as much volume though. So like the chart looks good. If you look on the swing side, the long-term side, this stock not looking as strong as APLD, at least of recent, but maybe this is the beginning of things to come. Maybe this could be a short squeeze over time, right? As much as I say that, just realize we don't hope for that. We don't hold our breath waiting for that short squeeze to happen. So if this just dumps right back down after the open, we're not going to be as, vested in following it. We're not going to spend as much time trying to, realize that move if it doesn't show that pop within the first 5 or so minutes. So again, another stock I'll come back to just probably by the end of this meeting here. Pinduoduo, this stock just more overnight gap up with Chinese equities. The China market, kind of exploding this week with news of a stimulus package, and I got to look more into that myself, basically get more in the know with the news there. But obviously PDD, Neo, XPEV, Billy, a bunch of these trades like Chinese stocks, all making big moves this week. PDD is obviously a good looker here because you could see it. Although it pulled back at the open, it ended up making this big bounce from 123 upwards to 132 almost. And then obviously higher this morning. Well, check this out. Check this out here. This is a crazy gap, actually double gap essentially, because it ended up filling one earlier. I think it was, oh, it's this one here. Basically, it was two gaps over the course of the last few weeks. That's what I'm thinking about. But basically, this drop off here back from the end of August from 140 down to 110. Over the course of the last few weeks, it's been revving back up a little bit, breaking above 100 bucks. And then just really this week alone with that stimulus news that came out, led to a huge overnight gap up, then overnight again heading into yesterday morning. Then that moves. So there could be more to it here on this stock, PDD, Pinduoduo. It's actually making a good pop right now at 9 o'clock this morning. Check out the other Chinese stocks that we typically have been following this week. NEO, it's not looking as good on like the intraday chart, but as far as like the daily chart goes, I'll kind of keep it to this for right now. You could just see, from the beginning of September, at least pretty good run up. Keep it on our side list. Billy's been a lot stronger. I think Billy is the name of the company. Get my tongue tied already with that. Billy, BILI, ended up having a nice overnight gap up early this week and then once again yesterday. So that was one of the stronger ones that we had from yesterday, at least. Jump back to my 1 minute for that. This little pop heading into the late morning, early afternoon. Let me actually get my chart fixed here. Sorry. This stock had a pretty good move. It was from earlier this week. It was back from, I think, Wednesday this week, Tuesday this week, losing track of my weekdays. Yeah, this run up here heading into the late morning, early afternoon. This is back on Tuesday, the 24th. So, again, if we happen to see the stock show better signs of life the next day or maybe the day after, as it pops back up on our scans, we'll reconsider it. But you can't fall in love with any one stock. Just, I'm going to trade the stock every day. There's going to be a day where this stock just tanks again. There's going to be days where it consolidates. There's always a new flavor of the day here at CTU. So that's why we're building up our watch list right now, even. Just want to check out a couple other stocks, though. So we had Billy, XPEV. This is kind of in line with NEO, another Chinese company, Chinese EV company at that. Then the other one, not Chinese related, but this one I got to touch on. What the hell happened to SMCI? I mean, they got demolished yesterday, didn't they? So, I'm pulling up Benzinga right now. I'll pull up the actual news reports, headlines out here for you. Whole bunch of halts and, resumed trading headlines out there. But really what happened was Justice Department probes SMCI, former employee accused AI server maker of accounting violations. The probe is at an early stage. A prosecutor at the U.S. Attorney's Office in San Francisco recently has contacted people potentially holding relevant information. So there's a whole big to do about this. Wall Street Journal, news blip right here. I'll even kind of link that to all of us inside our live trading room. Give me a quick moment here. Just do a little copy pasta right there and post that main headline out there to all of our students. Sam, Bill, Grant, Minas, Michael, all of us inside the live trading room. I just copied and pasted that to you there. But, SMCI got absolutely obliterated. And the thing is, on this stock, we were calling out some key levels going into this move. So 420 acting as the first support, it got broken through extremely quick. So you would expect for that to flip into resistance. And then from there off of 400, the more times it just kept pecking that level heading into like this time of the day, more times it keeps just kind of nipping it, going down. I kind of mentioned this to a few students in our coaching program yesterday. It's kind of like the popsicle stick effect, where, it's not like the more you're twisting and snapping and flicking that popsicle stick, it's not like it's getting stronger. It's only getting weaker. So this stock led to a big short afterwards once it rebroke below 400. Good for what, like 30 points, 25 points short there, even at that time. It squeezed back up. I'm sure this stock will have its, bounce back over time. There's a whole lot more to this story, though, so I wouldn't look to just buy this right away looking for that dead cat bounce. But it's a volatile stock. It's a volatile trade. If you tend to trade a $400 stock, a more expensive stock out there, then you should probably put it on your personal watch list. Normally, we don't tend to scan for stocks, $300, $400 or more per share. So, I'll come back to this, like I'd said previously with the few others that we went through. And, really for a Friday, you can't really be drooling over any one trade, like I'd said before. So we'll go from top to bottom right now. We'll see what we can grab. All right. Mina says SMCI projected to go to 200. Well, it doesn't shock me there because, again, Fausto called this one out really off the breakout that we had here off the daily chart, off of like 350 resistance. It was building this Fausto flag. This was like one of the larger squeezes that I've been a part of with CTU, and Fausto was like first to the punch on this call out. So from 350 ran up to 1200. It's not going to shock me at all when this smashes right back below this line, probably in the next week or so, I'd imagine. All right, so let's rip it from top to bottom. We go. See if there's anything new that joined the gainer side here as we flap our gums for a bit. So ONCO to begin. This one was more from our pre-market, watch list here. Good pop after 7 o'clock in the morning. Good pop after 8 o'clock. Just failed to make the higher high cleanly. Plenty of time to see that happen though. So give me a moment. Jump back to my Benzinga Pro here. Newsman Levitan today we'll go with. So ONCO shares trading higher. Altos Venture reported a 32.5% stake in the company as of September 24, 13D filing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's not like a buyout, but it's just saying, hey, we put this giant stake in the company. That's what the news headline is for this one here. Altos Venture, pardon my ignorance, I don't really know who they are. So, just to say 32.5% stake in the company, that doesn't really mean as much to me unless if there's like a number in terms of money involved. If it's like $5 billion investment, $2 billion, even APLD from the last few weeks with NVIDIA, 160 million. Like, wow, for a small cap company, that's pretty big. So I wonder how big that like stake is, like 32.5%, obviously, but how much? So either way, though, the stock will go on our morning watch list here. It's still holding up pretty nicely. I was being mindful of just the head fake off of 650 and then for it to smash back down. So I didn't jump in at first when I had made that initial test. So perhaps it'll make that better move after the open. Right now, holding very well under 650 here. So yeah, see if this can make the move after 930. CNUI already making a move. This goes right on our list here, needless to be said, right? The only thing I guess I should say with this type of stock is that normally we don't trade stocks below $1. Once they start popping up and really breaking over that dollar threshold, it's not like it's just to say like, oh, we're only looking for stocks over $1 and like the ones below $1 are bad. That's not really it. That's not it as much. These are NASDAQ national stocks, but it's to say at least that when any trade pops up over the $1 threshold, keep in mind, it's not like, if let's say if you trade stocks below $1, it's not like, everyone trades stocks below $1 just because you do. Actually, I'd say the majority of people don't trade stocks below $1. They trade stocks kind of more name brand. So, with that said, when it breaks over the dollar threshold, at the minimum, at the very least, it pops up on so many more people's radars, like at the least. Now, the question is it going to keep pumping up? Is it going to make that better push for another 20 cents, 25 cents? See what happens here. It's up 82% on the day. Yeah, I mean, with that said, I mean, we could see a pullback at 930, then a little slingshot higher. No problem putting that on our list. Duo, no problem putting this back on our list. Duo is actually one of the better trades from yesterday. So let me actually go over this trade briefly. And another trade, much like the CNUI. It was below $1 to begin the morning. It was already popping up before we had scanned for it. And even afterwards, we called it out after the halt here. It ended up building back up as support, led to a huge pop after. So this stock had legs. It was a nice move heading into the late morning or mid-morning, I'll call it. But now heading into this open here today for Friday, as long as we can keep seeing the same game being played, higher low, higher high, see this chart resistance here at 142, yesterday's resistance here, flipping into support now. That's a pretty good sign for the meantime here. Let's see it try and do the same off 150, 50-cent level. All right, so we got 3 good trades now to work with for the morning watch list. We got the top 3% gainers here at least. But, what we'll do is see what else we got. BMEA, not a bad chart, but just probably really skimpy on the order book, really skimpy on the volume there. IONQ, we'll go back to the news headlines for this one at least. But yeah, IONQ is on our pre-market list. We were hoping for a push over 9 for a flip of 9 support. See, like this has money involved at least. IONQ says it inked a $54.5 million contract with the U.S. Air Force Research Lab, announced $72.8 million in bookings year to date, and says it will exceed bookings guidance, blah, blah, blah. So, clearly a pretty bullish headline out there this morning for IONQ. I think this is a quantum computer programming type of company. Again, pardon the ignorance if I'm wrong on that, but IONQ has been a pretty interesting trade over the last year and a half, even before this run here. But you could see it took off from 6 up to 20 and change. It was a great swing trade as it was a day trade. Came back down though, so we'll put it back on our list for the open. I know it's pulling back down right now, so if it continues lower high, lower low, then probably see it base out maybe around 830 before we get that better bounce. But it's still in contention, still a decent play as a day trade for the open. See if it could build higher first. ETGL. This was on our pre-market list, but more of a dud, right? Like this kind of popped, I guess, in the afternoon yesterday. Kind of low volume at the time. Started to pop better going into 3:30, but just the issue on this trade, like we just said a moment ago, is the volume. The stock has like no orders out there on level 3, and for a cheap $4 stock, you should be expecting at least some. All right, so wow, okay, Boyle's looking pretty good coming up off of 8:30 or even off of 8 o'clock. I know there was some news that came out this morning with the market, with the SPY, PCE data, whatever that is. But Boyle, hey, this ETF, natural gas ETF, we tend to trade when it's showing good activity, and obviously this morning it is up 6+%, trending well at the highs. This stock or this ETF definitely has good volume on the order book, though, and it'll show even more when the market opens up. All right, so to round out the gainer side here, a couple more. TAL, another Chinese, company here, nonprofit education company. We've done well on that one in the past. We've done well on Go2 in the past. That was another little mover from yesterday. This one's holding up pretty nicely. This one's holding pretty nicely from yesterday's close, and we'll have good volume on the book once the market opens up. Spread will tighten up there. You know what? If I'm kind of partial to any of the Chinese companies, I'll kind of throw Go2 on our list for right now. Maybe Billy at the end of that all, but see what else we got here. Actually, we're below 5% already at this point. QBTS is another like quantum type of company that was moving with IO and Q back then. QS, another one as well. Not really showing much life though. Tiger, another Chinese stock too as well, just before we hop over to the losers. But yeah, this also had a pretty good day. It's also up 4+%. Also showing good activity on the chart. I could add this to our list, but for right now, I'll kind of keep it to the side. For the sake of trying to keep it simple, right? So we'll hop over to the loser side here next. Not really a whole lot that looks good as far as a potential short, potential name brand company. When Boyle, that ETF goes up, this one goes down. So that's why you see this dropping. And that's it. I mean, really, this looks like lazy almost with how fast I went through the whole loser side here. But I filtered everything based off of volume. Price, net percent change. I lower this a little bit more, but there is nothing really that's dropping off too nicely here. So that's fine by me. We'll keep more to the gainer side here heading into the open. If there's anything else looking good from Brad, Michael, Ravina, Marcella, any of us inside our live trading room right now, let me know. NNE, I kind of flashed for a moment here. I kind of just, brushed it off to the side very quickly. This stock is not only just a classic pop and drop stock, it is like a historical, type of pop and drop trade for us, meaning it's going to crash really fast, really hard. Well, this stock also has bad volume on the order book, so I'm not as particular about this trade more for that reason. Just see that we did pretty well in the stock back in mid-June, pumped up from $7 or $8 up to 35, maybe nearly 40 that is there, but then came back down. So I can maybe slip it on the back side of our watch list here just because it's kind of showing good activity. It's up a little bit today, but all right, from our trading room, what do we got here? Just kind of checking all the chat here briefly. So from Lynn and Randy, just wishing John and Alex, just our staff here, John Romano, Alex Ramsey, well, just over in Tennessee, absolutely. Mina says, good day from Florida, a bit battered. I'm hoping not too battered, Minas. Where do you live, Minas, in Florida? Got a bunch of us around Panhandle area, unfortunately, got hit hard. Myself, I'm Clearwater, Pinellas County area. Michael says, best week for China stocks since 2008. Hey, we know what happened, in the U.S. economy in terms of stimulus and what happened to all those stocks during COVID, right? So for as much as of the drop-off that we had, we had a strong bounce back, and that's what we're seeing right now with China. Actually, pretty interesting here. So this is exactly where you tend to see like the difference in the markets between China and like the U.S. I could probably get a better ETF to even draw this comparison to, but look over the last 5-6 years with China and their large cap ETF here, FXI, been tanking. SPY obviously been rocking. So perhaps, especially more, not just for the stimulus news that came out this week, but for as beat up as China's market's been, this could be as good of a time as any to get that type of dead cat bounce, that stronger wave. And of course, it's been evident from this week, but there could be more to come. Minas, you're in Clearwater too? I didn't know that. I gotta check my CRM, right? But obviously, I didn't have that in front of me right there. But Minas, you're basically my neighbor. There we go. Charlene, Crystal River, Florida, she says. Hopefully not affected by the hurricane there. Again, really quick, folks, we had brought up just from earlier this morning inside our live trading room, just post. But again, we had made an announcement just because we didn't have the screen stuff fixed in time. But we're gonna keep class for Monday. We're gonna do class, the phase 2 stock course on Monday. It was supposed to be for today. We had the tech issue, the screen share issue early inside our live trading room. And at this point, we already sent out the emails. So last thing that we want to do is throw like a quadruple whammy and start like mixing everyone up. So now at this point, we're just going to move the class to Monday, keep it from Monday. And, there shouldn't be any sort of tech issues, at least at that point. But otherwise, again, for all of our gold, platinum, diamond CTU students, phase 2, Monday, not today. But otherwise, hey, we got a nice market open ahead of us here, folks. And yes, Traders Talk still Monday, folks, as normal. But again, folks, hey, we're going to finish up. So if you have any other questions, feel free to private chat me inside our live trading room. If you're on YouTube, Facebook Live, etc., that being at Cyber Trading U, always feel free to hit the follow or subscribe button right there. Be a friend, tell a friend that we got a YouTube channel here. And if you have any other questions as well, just type my personal email address to you right there in the chat board, josh@ctutrading.com. And then otherwise, we look forward to having you joining us inside our live trading room.